YouTube, welcome back. Today I am interviewing Laura from Vitally Organized, and for a change, instead of doing it on Zoom, she's decided to come and visit me. You'll notice I'm videoing this outdoors, so she doesn't get to see my inside, which really needs to be organized. Laura, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michelle, for being with you.
Cool. So, Laura, how on earth did you get started with an organizing business?
So, I was working in corporate, but passing my hobby time was at home. And every time I would come back home to release the stress or not, and feeling very tired, I found it very therapeutic to unpack my cupboards and repack them and reorganize them.
Can you rub off some of those jeans on me, please? That could come in really handy.
So, and it's been working along for many years, this little idea that I wanted to start the organizing business.
Okay.
And then my friend says, why don't you start it, one day? People will ask for it. They will want someone like you. Why you keep on reorganizing your cupboards at 1 o'clock in the morning after you've partied and danced the whole night?
Oh, I remember watching somebody and they were saying that there's the difference between cleaning and organizing, because cleaning is just, pick it up, wipe the dust and put it back down again, whereas organizing takes a lot of thought. And you were explaining to me beforehand with this wonderful little notebook of yours all the ideas of how to organize and categorize all sorts of things like shoes.
And ladies have got 200 shoes or 300 shoes a collection, and guys too as well.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So why not categorize it? You can start your organizing from a favorite spot of your house. That's what I'll tell everybody, and then you can build it on, and then you realize as soon as you're comfortable with it to tackle a bigger project.
Okay, so you start with the fun part instead of the crappy part.
Exactly.
Okay.
Make it fun. I want organizing to look as fun work, not boring.
Okay, that
overwhelming.
wasn't the F word that came to my mind when you talk about organizing. I mean, that just sounds like funky, but not in a good way. Normally, I suppose in a way I would always have thought of organizing as a chore, almost like punishment. Not that I ever remember my mother punishing me doing stuff like that. Is that a mindset you encounter quite often?
Yes. So
Okay.
people are feeling overwhelmed because depending on how they grew up and what they did, what the parents did. Normally we follow what our folks did. If our folks didn't bother and just left, example, a teacup on the table,
Right.
or an ashtray on the table, that's makes, and did not neaten it up or clean it up,
Right.
and then they had thousands of magazines over the coffee table.
Uh-huh.
How the earth would you be able to
Would you learn?
learn
Yeah.
those little tricks,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
it starts from those simple processes. So it might be not visible. The kids at the time, you're not interested.
Yeah.
You want it, okay, clean plate. You want a few magazines and it's easy to get to.
Right.
But when the mountain starts piling up and
Right.
the clutter starts there, you're not going to love your space. And that's
Yeah.
why another thing I say is make it fun and love your space.
Okay.
See the word love in a different perspective.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
love is limit your clutter.
Okay.
It's an opportunity to save time and money, because
Okay.
often people waste money and
Yes.
go buy the same product because you can't find it.
Yeah.
You can't find that pink top that you put in the cupboard, but you got about 7 of them lying around in the drawers, in a chest drawer,
Yeah.
in the cupboards,
Yeah.
multi-purposes. It's a victory because you can recreate yourself, and
Yeah.
it gives you energy, your energy back to you and those around you.
And that is such an insult. And coffee's great. Let's not kid
Yes.
ourselves, but it has its limits. And I think, especially in this day and age, we're all so overwhelmed, so exhausted, that energy is, I think, a very strong driving point. Because if anything that can give us more energy is definitely something you want to pursue.
Exactly, and that's where your mindset comes, and your recreation comes along. If your space is cluttered,
Yeah.
and like cluttered in a very bad way, where's your recreation? Where's your happy home or your happy space?
Right.
And you want to make it more exciting for you. So if you got cluttered piling up,
Okay.
how are you gonna create something or be able to work? I know some people say, oh, just leave the desk as it is because I can work around my papers and stuff. It's fine. There is a
organized chaos. Yes.
That is allowed, most definitely.
Yes.
But when the organized chaos becomes a mountain,
yes,
and becomes so overwhelming that you can't even face your desk, and then you go and buy something else and you add on top of that little mountain.
Yes.
How are you going to pursue, your happiness, your mindset, your open up your space,
right?
Your emotions. Remember, whatever you're feeling, you transport into your friends, your family,
your
and
clients. Yes.
So they need to feel you, no matter what industry you're in, that you're a happy person and persuade. But if they come to your home and see what you like or your office,
yeah. You want your clients to feel like you know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's just knowing where everything is. Although having been an expert of organized chaos myself, she says very tongue-in-cheek, back in December the beekeepers were here for my hobby beekeeping, and Arthur said to me, we're always looking for things to burn, and usually we use cardboard, but if you ever have any hessian, that we can use that as well. And I said, hold on a second. And he watched me literally dive underneath the bed and pull out a bag of hessian, and both him and James were like, wait, what? How did you know that was there? And I worked with a woman, she was a chartered accountant, and messy beyond. Now, messy at home for me is one thing. Messy at office, I tend to want to always know where things are. Now, it's not to say my filing's great, but I'll know that this company is in that drawer, that company is in that drawer, and so at least I'm in the
semi-organized.
But this other woman, my word, literally there was the piles had piles. And the one day, one of the guys had resigned from the company, and he'd bought the company car, and he'd been gone for like 6 or 10 months or something, and he'd been asking for the spare key to the car because this woman had it, and she was always like, I'll get to it. And eventually he actually came to the office and he said, I'm here now, I want those keys. And she got on the phone to me and she said, okay, just go, I'll walk you through this. Go to my office, unlock my office, pretend you're sitting at my desk facing the way I sit. There's a chair next to there. Underneath that chair is a box. If you pull that box open, the third packet round the back has got the spare key. And Truth Bobbit was there. But anybody else, like if anything had happened to that woman, if anybody else going through that, and I know there's a concept of Swedish death cleaning, you've probably encountered it, but it's a case of anybody coming in and having to clean up after you. Are they going to know what that is? Are they going to know how important that particular key might be over any other key that was in that bag? So how often do you encounter that kind of, or that level of mess? Or are you under a non-disclosure agreement?
It's a non-disclosure agreement. No. There are different tips. Like I would say to people, start off small in a few little steps. Okay. So now think of your everyday situation in your life. You're watching TV, you've got your remote. So you're having dinner, you're having a plate of food.
Yeah.
So you are drinking your glass of wine. So you got your glass of wine on your side table. You got the remote on the couch. You got a blanket because now, it's cold.
Going into winter. Yes.
Winter. So think of all those items.
Yeah.
Now you are tired. You're sleepy. You go off to bed. The next morning you wake up. What do you find? An organized mess. Okay. So why not start off with those few items and put them away and just see and release what the clutter is building up starts feeling.
Okay.
So, and you're clearing that wine glass and it must go in the basin and get washed. And then you start clearing the blanket, it goes back in its place. That's how the organized process.
Sorry, that's not going to work for me, because when we're watching TV and we have the blanket on us, invariably there's a cat involved, and any cat lovers will know that if the cat's on the bed, you don't make the bed until the cat decides to move. How often have you encountered that?
No, I haven't encountered that because I don't have a pet at home
yet,
but I will soon,
and then you'll know exactly,
and then I'll know the feeling of it. But it doesn't give you an excuse. Even with a cat, you say, Mr. Majesty.
Hey, they know where we sleep and they have murder mittens.
You'll just neaten the blanket. You can just put it on the side. You don't have to pack it away. Okay.
Thank you. My cats thank you too.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to challenge you. I didn't even prep you on this one. How do you handle the mindset where clutter is protection? So, for example, I don't want certain people to come to my house, and therefore I will make sure my house is not presentable for guests. Have you encountered that mindset at all?
Yes. So the person quickly, like upfront, says you can't get to that room because there's certain things that I don't want you to interfere with.
Okay.
So I said, okay, that's fine. Let's start off with other things that you want me to organize.
Okay.
Once you've known the skills and the process that I've shown you,
Yeah.
then we can work it through. It's your choice at the end of the day. Do you want to work with me together with it? Because I work together with the person, and I sit down and I work it through the clutter with them.
Because it's quite intimate if you think about it.
It is, because sometimes, they said, I don't want you to get into my intimate life.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Then I'll just show you the process with your other stuff.
Okay.
And then if you choose at the end to go through the stuff with me, but you want me to get rid of it for you or whatever the case may be, you've already got the basics from
the process.
The process. So, and I will not enforce something that someone doesn't want to do.
Right.
You get that. But I do want to get as much as possible done that I can do in that project for them.
Sure.
So that they actually do feel liberated, they do feel free and happy. I've had situations where the people have just left it and it says, come back to me about a week, which is fine because I can have other projects in between
right.
and give them a chance to think about and process what needs to be done. And when I went back to them, they actually did it themselves.
Wow.
So they actually prepared the dustbin bags for me and the boxes for me.
Awesome.
Even put a description of what that box contained.
Okay.
And for me just to go and deliver to the organization for donating or...
Great. Excellent.
So somehow I do have some magic to get through to people, even
magic,
with their intimate...
we use whatever we can use. That's good stuff. Yeah.
And even the sentimental stuff.
Yeah.
The sentimental is a big one.
I can imagine.
And I've encountered a lot of people even start crying while they're talking to me about it.
Wow.
And I said, well, I do have personal experience on the sentimental side.
Right.
So I base that experience. It doesn't work for everyone.
Sure.
But I can put myself into their place and their emotions.
Right.
To see how I can tackle the obstacle for them. And not look at it as an obstacle and look at it as a game. I said, clutter is a reorganized lifestyle is your game. The clutter start is my game. So that's where the fun part starts again.
Because then you get to redistribute to people like me.
Yes. So, there's a purpose,
Yes.
And if you really love the item, but it is made no use to you, and it's only a sentimental factor, we can repurpose them like you do into something different so you don't feel...
that it's a waste.
It's a waste.
Or you don't want to go into landfill. Definitely not.
Exactly. Yeah. And then why not give it to someone else that can make someone else's home or emotion happy, and they can make use of it.
Yeah.
So
it's a good point. But do you also sometimes find that the things that you preach and teach to others, is there any of it that you battle to implement in your own home?
I did.
Okay.
I did. One was sentimental stuff.
Okay.
It was a big one.
I can imagine.
When I moved from a 4-bedroom place where I was in my parents' home, and then moving into an 89 square meter townhouse.
Yikes!
And
you had to make some hard choices.
And it was a quick move because it was a quick lifestyle change because something horrible happened. I'd been robbed, and everything, and I had to move.
Right.
So that was huge.
Right.
But instead of looking as a negative impact, I still call it to this day. I moved into an 89 square meter place, 67 boxes, 2 trunks, and some furniture.
There you go.
And then I just played along, and I gave myself time. A 3 to 4 month period to settle down in my little place.
3 to 4 months? I'm impressed. Sorry, I have a family member who, when their parents passed away in 2010, still to this day have not gone through the boxes because it's too emotional. Yes.
It does happen.
Yeah.
You know, I've got like colleague that she says she's got her mom's stuff that she's been keeping for, and she's refusing it like to open and settle down with it.
And I remember my mom has given me stuff. My mom has this philosophy: don't wait for me to die to ask for my stuff. If there's something you want, especially if I'm not using it, I'm happy for you to start enjoying it while I'm still around to see you enjoy it.
Exactly.
So I'm sitting with 2 shawls. One is a Spanish lace shawl, and the other one is a white and blue velvet shawl, which she let me wear for my matric farewell.
Oh.
They're in my cupboard, and you know, much as I will repurpose any fabric you bring to me, I look at this and I'm like, you know, like you said, that sentimental hook. It's amazing because you remember, and I've seen people say, yeah, take a photograph, and then you've still got the memory. Because to be honest, I haven't used that velvet one since my matric dance, and that was 1980 or whatever.
But it still sparks you joy when you look at it.
Yes,
it's
it
a
does.
happy memory.
For sure.
So now let me point out the Konmari Method.
Does it spark joy? Yes.
Does it spark you joy? If
Yes.
an item is sentimental to you and still sparks you joy, there's nothing wrong in keeping that item.
Yeah.
You could have 20 of those, but one of them is the real special one that still gives you that heartwarming feeling. So keep that one.
And because it's a classic, and I'll in the right time, place, and circumstances, that would be the one I'd go to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you purge an item, and there's like a list of items that you want to get rid of,
Yeah.
you purge, then you sort, and then you say, does it spark joy?
Okay.
So you give yourself some time. So it took me 3 to 4 months to sort out. It takes people years to sort out.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to be in that position to help the people to minimize their time, get on with it, and let's convert it. Even medals. What are your medals doing in a box?
Exactly.
You know?
Display them or make another plan.
Yes, there's like picture frames that one can put them up together
Yes,
to
I've seen some
display
of
them.
those. Yeah.
So there's a lot that can be done with.
I'll tell you one of my tricks. We'll soon see if Bruce actually watched this video, because I have a box on top of the kitchen fridge, because we have this junk drawer in the kitchen. I'm sure everybody has one.
Yes.
And it's stuff we've bought, and it's been a good idea when we've bought it, and
But never used.
exactly. So I put it up in that cupboard, in that box, and it's barely bigger than a shoebox. And every now and then I hear this, where's the bleep, bleep, bleep? And I'm like, oh, it's in that box over there. So I haven't chucked it, but it's not cluttering up the already cluttered drawer.
So it's the useful junk.
But the potentially, I would be in trouble if I chucked this drawer.
There's nothing wrong, you know, as long as you work things through to make you happy, and like you make it sound fun. So keep that thought in mind, because it's all about a mindset. If your mindset is positive, you'll look at things in a different perspective.
Right.
If your mindset is a bit low and you're negative about it, obviously you are going to feel over emotional about
Going
everything.
to feel like an uphill. Yeah.
So call me the clutter bug therapist.
Oh,
that's my another name.
Yes.
Clutter bug therapist.
There you go. Sounds like fun. But you're so cute. You'd have to be like a ladybug therapist. Good stuff. Laura, is there anything else as we finish up this interview that you would like to share with our viewers?
Okay, so I'd like you guys please to follow me.
Okay.
The details Michelle will
in the link in the description below.
I will give it, yeah. And then if you have a family member or someone that's interested, or they're moving,
oh yes, like for staging houses.
Houses.
Okay.
If you are moving and you need to sell the house and you want to make your house look pretty, I can do that as well.
Awesome.
Find always balance and harmony in your place.
Right.
So I'll be tackling something very new in the upcoming months. Maybe we can do another interview on the update.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you're about to be empty nesters and you've got kids going to the residence or their own living, I can also help you with that process, reorganizing their spaces and your space. Because that's also overwhelming. Oh, my baby is going to university,
and it's so emotional,
and they're moving out of home, and I'm feeling emotional, I don't know what to do, and you've got that hidden hobby room that's not been tackled, and now it's the good time to do that. So those are the few ideas I come up with. So enjoy the cluttering and reorganizing.
Great stuff. Cool.
Don't look at it as an overwhelming exercise.
Take it one step at a time.
One step at a time.
And even when you get stuck, call Laura. She's a bundle of energy. So Laura, thank you so much for joining me today. And hey, if you have either a business or just a side hustle that you'd like to be displayed on my channel, reach out to me and let's see if we can interview you for one of Michelle's makeovers. And we'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Bye.
Ciao.